How's everyone doing? Good. You guys enjoying yourselves at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so for those that came in after I introduced myself, my name is Tonya Dozier. I am the founder of Boston Magazine, and I am the host for this event. Welcome to Cupcakes Conversations. I hope you guys are enjoying your treats from our amazing vendor, Elise Sweets. And then mimosas is you just make your own, mix your own. We have our 5 lovely speakers here. We're going to be talking about a few things for business. So for those who have their own business, these ladies are going to be giving you some information and knowledge that can help you elevate. So you ladies want to go ahead and just reintroduce yourself for those who missed it.
Yes. So my name is Tasha. I'm the founder of Successor, which is a women business directory and network. And also I do personal and business coaching through Queen Empower, which is Women Empower business.
Hi, I'm April Lyons again. I am of Michelle Monet Accessories. I create handcrafted accessories for men, women, and children. Currently, I am the vendor for a military fraternity. I am a brand ambassador for a watch company, and I am in the process of becoming a life coach. I am taking courses for that. Can't remember what else I said, but basically that's the gist of it.
Hi, my name is Alicia Lamar. I am the founder of Botanical You. It's a hair care company for natural hair. I started the product when I lost all my hair, but I'll tell you guys the story a little bit later. And I also am the founder of Brains, Beauties, and Bodies. And what we do is we get all women together and we talk about how we can help make ourselves more intelligent with our brains, beauty, hair, makeup, and then bodies with fitness, exercise, and nutrition.
Hi everybody, my name is Tanisha Chambers. I am a children's author. I first published my first book back in May of 2017. That's Zori and the Monster. Shortly after that, I did Zori and the Monster coloring book. And August of 2018, I published Zori's Day of Prince. I do have Zori with me today. She got headphones in, but she helps. We wrote the first book together, so.
Hey guys, my name is Destiny Turnbow. I'm the founder and creator of FlyGirlAdventures.com, which is a travel blog. I use my travels and experiences that I've gone through to empower women. I also have a nonprofit where I mentor young girls and also create content for small businesses. So I'm really excited to be here today to talk to you guys.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in so we can get this party going, right? So for the ladies, I'm just going to ask some questions. Whoever wants to jump in and answer can answer. If you aren't ready to answer, you can say pass, but I am going to come back around. Okay, so for my first question, when did you all realize and accept your business calling?
Oh, I could go first today. It was when I started realizing I didn't really want to work for anybody. I wasn't following a lot of the business rules. So I remember praying about it, and then I had a dream, and in my dream was every single thing about Successor. The way the logo was going to look, what it was going to be about, how I was going to help women. It was every single thing I could have thought of. So I woke up that morning, and I was just writing everything down, drawing out everything, sketching out everything, and that's how Successor came about. And then originally I was doing Lovely Wives Club. That was the same thing that happened for my Wives Club as well.
I would say, excuse me, for me, I like accessories. So my thing was I always wanted to be different. I didn't like wearing what someone else was wearing. So I remember I went into, I think it was Burlington Coat Factory looking for a stack of bracelets. And what ended up happening, I didn't see anything I liked. So I went home. I remember I actually started doing this when I was 17, believe it or not. And I would create bracelets and necklaces and whatever for people at church in reality. And they started purchasing everything that I made way back when. So it dawned on me while I was in Burlington, you did this before, go ahead and create your own. So I just went and brought the material for what I was making. It's funny because my son and my husband saw what I was doing. They said, well, we want one, make us a bracelet. So I made them And they actually went out that evening together. And I'm telling you, it was like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'm getting a phone call from them. It's people who want to order from you. And I'm like, are you serious? So that's when it dawned on me that this is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do. Go ahead and start the business, because I've always wanted to start a business. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So that was the start of Michelle Monet.
As for me, I never wanted to start a business. I just was working. I had a great job making 6 figures, and I had my son. I lost all my hair after I had the baby, and I didn't know why, because I had a daughter, and my hair grew really nice, beautiful, healthy, and the doctor told me, he sat me down, he said, you have a form of alopecia due to the pregnancy. And I never heard of anything like that, so I went home. This was about over 10 years ago, and I was just crying. I went home, my husband said, calm down, calm down. But when I took the comb, like the whole thing was on the floor. Every time I touched it, a whole patch would come out. He told me it was gonna last 3 months. So I went home and I just started Googling natural stuff, because he said I couldn't use any oil, any grease, and that's what we use, you know, and out here. I said, I don't know what to do, so I just started Googling a whole bunch of ingredients for natural hair, Indian and African herbs, everything from the ground. And I came up with a formula. I went back to my salon, and she also told me, she said, your hair's falling out due to the baby. So she knew. But she also said, do not come back here until all your hair's finished falling out, because it was bad for business for her. I'm sitting in her chair, and as she's touching my hair, all of it is on the floor. So I ended up going back to her. They both said it was going to last 3 months, and it did. I was completely bald at that time. So I came back, and my hair started growing little by little, and I pulled the serum out of my bag. So she said, well, what are you using? And I just showed it to her. She said, do me a favor, bring me a couple of little bottles when you come back. I was very reluctant, but I did. So when I came back the next time, a month later, she said, girl, people want to buy this. So I was like, no, this is for me. You know, I made this for me. She said, no, people want to buy this. They need this. So that's how I became a business owner. And my husband said, you know what? You need to do this. People need it. Our friends and family started buying it. Now I have it all over in like 15 states, all over in different beauty salons. So that's how I became a business owner.
For me, I kind of started, I always wanted to start a business. I just didn't know where to start. And it wasn't until my sister Zori was born, and in the midst of her being born, I think I lost my job like 2 years after college. And I started accessory, not accessory line, I started selling accessories, Zori's Closet. And it was jewelry, and I imported shoes from Jamaica, where my family is from. And from then, I'm like, okay, I started pushing that business. It kind of fell off because some other things happened in my life. But I prayed about it. I'm like, God, I want to write a book. Which I was writing a book from college. However, it never really finished. So I just kept praying about a book, a story that I wanted to write. And one day, I had Zori with me because I had her for like a month or 2 by myself while my mom worked. And she wouldn't stay quiet in the car. And we were on the get drive, and I'm like, how can I get her to quiet? I said, I'm going to tell her a scary story. So I'm like, Zori, let me make up a story. Monster, are you behind that tree? And from there, I went home, and months later, that story repeated, and I got the complete story. God gave me the entire story. I got up in the middle of the night and wrote the entire story down. And from there, I just been getting little stories from whatever she do around the house.
Famous story. I think for me, I've always been a traveler, an adventurer, somebody who's like very independent, wanting to kind of explore new things. But what kind of started to shift into like, okay, I should document this, actually came from a near fatal car accident that I was in about 2 years ago, which was caused actually by an ex-boyfriend. And so writing about, my travels and just the journeys that I've gone through was kind of like a healing process for me. During that whole healing process of physically healing, I ran out of sick days at my job, ran out of vacation days at my job, ran out of money, wasn't getting paid no more. So I'm like, okay, this is cute, pictures or whatever, nice. But how can I get this to make some money for me while I'm sitting at home in bed? I think I was off for like almost half of the year last year because I had to get 4 surgeries. I broke my femur on, it was a car accident on Broad Street. So from there, I started hooked up with Tunita, started reaching out to small businesses and talking to them about how I could create content and host it on my website, or maybe make videos for them or different things to help to promote their businesses. Then it kind of, from that point, I kind of was like, well, I really want to start giving back to the community and to young girls. So I think a lot of people, when they have like travel blogs and things like that, or just Instagram or social media in general, it tends to kind of be all about the image. And as we know, when you put something on the phone or online, I can show you whatever I want to show you. Most people actually didn't really even know what I was going through, that I was like in a wheelchair, on crutches, like for almost 2 years. You really wouldn't know unless I told you. So I think just that need to be transparent kind of was like, okay, maybe I can give back to some young girls. I had to go back home to Detroit through the summer, so I started a nonprofit called Fly Girl Fly, which empowers young girls to travel, to follow their dreams and just encourage them on their journey. Because I think my motto is like, the best journey is the life that you live. You know, you can't always be looking forward to the next best thing. You have to learn how to be content in the space that you're in. So I had 4 interns last summer that they worked on different projects that were dear to their heart. One girl was interested in film. Another girl, she was in politics. Another one, she was also in film. I matched them up with interns. All this while like not even able to move around, but I'm just the type of person, I always have to have something to do. So I think for me, it became like a therapy for me, in a way to just express myself and not feel like I wasn't doing anything at all. So it was, I think, it came out of a necessity and a need, and also just wanting to get back to the person that I knew that I could be again.
Thank you, ladies, for sharing that. I wanted to, kill the elephant in the room, get you guys ladies more open. So let's jump into the nitty-gritty of the business so that we can share with our guests what's important. So tell us something. What is something you learned the hard way running your business?
That family will not always support you. You will have support from strangers. You will have support from people in social media, on social media. Not saying that your family won't support, because your family will support, but you will have people who are non-family members support you faster than your family does. And I learned that the hard way, and it was like a real wake-up call.
Anyone else?
Well, just to piggyback, the family thing, but for me, since I write children's book, the hardest thing for me to get started was finding an illustrator. I had the story, but nobody to illustrate, and it took me, I started at the Art Institute. I went with one person, they started drawing, then it just stopped, so I had to find somebody else that started. So I started to get discouraged along the way, like, should I really be putting this story out there? And then I realized, meeting up with some other local authors, that they put me in the right direction to figure out where to go to start my children's book.
I think the hardest thing would be to not get discouraged that people don't appreciate the business that you have. So I guess you'll start doing your business, you'll get really excited about it, you'll put it all out, and then people say, oh no, not right now, I'm not really, I'll come back to you or whatever, and then you get discouraged, you get like in a pocket where you're like, oh, maybe I should go back to work,
Right.
or maybe I should do this or do that. But just staying focused and seeing that it's okay for people not to really get it. That's okay. Keep doing what you're doing, keep focusing on what you're doing, and then eventually people will come around. And if not, I was in a business meeting just last week, and they said, if these people don't, that's not your market. That's not your customer. So move on to the people that want to be a part of your business, or that want to hear what you have to say.
The hardest thing for me is I'm a perfectionist and I want to do everything by myself. If you're going to run a successful business, you cannot be a one-woman show or a one-man show. You have to be able to relinquish some of the job to someone else. And it is hard because you want everything done perfectly, but you will not grow. You'll grow to a certain size and that's it. I've heard a lot of successful people, I watch a lot of videos, and they tell you you have to delegate jobs to different people. Make sure it's the people you trust and make sure they know what they're doing, but you're gonna have to relinquish some of the work over to someone else.
Yeah, and I
And it's hard for us.
Right?
Yeah.
It's hard because they don't, you feel like they don't get it. It's not what I need. But
I think to piggyback off of that, I've learned that it was important to take your time and be, it's better to kind of focus and narrow what you're going to do on one specific thing than to try to have your hand in so many different things. I think for me, like I said, I'm the type of person, if I'm not doing anything, I just feel like, why am I here? Like, even though, like, you know, people would look at my situation that I was going through and be like, well, you did just get out of surgery last week. Like, why you're interviewing people? I think I interviewed you like when I was in rehab, and it was, you know, and I had my backdrop and everything. Like, literally, you never have known. Like, I'm sitting up in the nursing home, like re-healing and everything like that. So, but I think though, just refocusing and like understanding like why I was doing it in the first place, kind of helped to guide me and give me more balance to what I was doing. So.
Okay. The best business advice that has kept you around.
it has to be empowerment. It is just the need to see another woman succeed. It's hard. We do not have that. We don't support each other the way we should have support each other. We see another woman doing the business that we're doing, we're immediately intimidated by it. Oh, hers not like mine, or you know, mine is different. And no, if we channel that same energy into supporting that business and standing behind another woman, especially a black woman.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how much further we would go? Do you know why a lot of these other companies are successful? Because these people team up with each other. And I'm not saying in these situations and cultures, think about what I'm saying.
Right.
They team up together. They work together. You go to networking events, because I've been in them in Delaware County. They're all at the front. We all in the back. Why? Because we don't support each other. We can't stand to see another person, especially another black person, succeed. Why? Is that embedded in our DNA? No, it's not. Let's break the curse. Get out here and support people. Find out how you can get into these different organizations. Find out how you can bring another person along and continue to do it. And it's okay. You're not going to impress everybody. You're going to have bad blood. But so what? Get over it the next day. There's a new day coming. Get out and support people and figure out how you can make a difference. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yes, bam.
Yes.
So tell us, what are 3 things that all entrepreneurs should know to help them elevate their business?
I'll say one thing off the top of my head, and we were just talking about this. Do not lower your prices for anyone.
Absolutely.
Anyone. Because you won't get it. You won't get those. But I'm your friend and I know you can. I get a discount. No ma'am, no sir. No, you cannot. Do not lower your prices for anyone. If that little meme that's going around on social media, if the t-shirt is $30, pay $30 for that t-shirt and keep it pushing.
Yes, that's true.
I think consistency is something that's really important. I think people really downplay the big impact that just doing one small thing every day, if you're consistent with your posting, or I know with what I used to do was have a weekly newsletter that would come out. And I remember, like, I was like, oh, nobody's really reading. I would look at the open rates and things like that. And I remember, like, 1 or 2 weeks I had missed, and people were asking me, like, what's going on? Like, I didn't hear anything. So, you know, sometimes you may not hear the feedback that you want, but just being consistent a little bit every day, setting goals, and also networking is very, very important. So you guys should all applaud yourself for even coming out today. Like, this is a really big deal. Yeah.
And that was what I was going to say. The biggest thing is the networking. Get out, get your name known. You're building a brand from the moment you decided. Get out, start talking to people, start networking, start meeting people, start changing lives, and it will change for you.
I'm going to add, to be really successful in business and life, period, constantly educate yourself. And education is not just college. People think it's college. No. If you see successful people, read up on them, see what they did. Listen to educational videos. These things are free. It's online. Google it. I'm constantly online educating myself constantly. And I've learned so much just by doing that.
And I agree with
No, go ahead.
No, I agree with you what you said. Like for me, I do a lot of research when it comes comes to the children's book industry, I research different authors, different successful authors. I follow them, and you know, kind of not copy what they do, but I take away what they do and to make it my own. And it's okay to stop and pause and regroup. It's a lot of times that I had to rebrand some of the things that I was putting out there, and that's okay. And I get discouraged. Maybe every couple months I get a little discouraged, a little bit. I don't want to say depressed, but a little bit in that mode, and I have to take myself out, and that's me listening to motivational people and lifting up my spirit and praying and those type of things.
Did you guys want to add something?
I just want to add something, if that's all right.
Sure.
What's your name?
April.
April. So I just want to add, you know, you talk about not lowering your prices. For me, it was understanding your value. I think it's always there. So the value, you know, what your pricing should be.
Right.
You know, so you gotta know that first. You know,
Right.
So that's part of the conversation when people are asking you to discount, and this is knowing your value, understanding your value, and how to price your services. I think you're right in line with that.
And if they can't pay those prices, that's not your customer.
Exactly.
It's okay, and I'm okay with you not being my customer.
Right.
I'm moving to somebody who wants it.
Right.
Thank you so much for that.
It's a Walmart and a Target for a reason.
Okay, really?
You can't do it. And it is what it is.
Right. And then just to add to that too, and a lot of times me and Tasha were talking about that, people don't realize how much goes into what you are doing and what you like. For me, because I create, and I just told her I took about an hour and a half just trying to find the pieces to customize someone's accessory. And that goes into what the price is going to be. That's a part of my labor. So the fact that I sat for an hour and I told her, the person said, okay, I'll see you in 3 months. 3 months? And I just sat for over an hour trying to find what you wanted. So you have to also factor that into what you're doing as well. Your time is money.
So as we may know, depending on the kind of business you have, you may have to have a certain amount of money to start. You guys may hear online or email, on the radio, depending on what it is, you don't need any money to start, but nothing's free, right? So ladies, tell me what you guys think about bartering services.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's like the best way to do business. Especially when you're just starting. You know, you might not have money. Although, listen, I am team, you do not need to have a lot of money to start a business.
No.
I started it with $100, and that was all I had left in my savings account, and I took it all and started it. You can start it without that, without money, but definitely barter, definitely connect and partner with somebody. Find out what they're good at, tell them what you're good at, see how you can partner together, and then make the relationship better. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Find somebody strong suit. Like right now I'm working because there's not a lot of boy children's books out. My cousin draws, he writes also, but he writes fantasy. However, he draws really good, and we're going to do a little boys book. I wrote the story, he kind of edited it, I re-edited it, and now he's doing the illustration.
I think also when you're bartering, it's sometimes people look at it in the wrong way because they feel like they didn't get what they wanted out of it. So I think it's important to be clear about your expectations.
Right.
Be clear about what you're going to offer, and be clear about what you expect to get back out of it. And then evaluate, like as you move forward, okay, I don't think this is really going to be the best thing for me anymore, but I appreciate the partnership that we had, and I'll send more people to you in the future. And just to be able to be flexible in that way, I think is really important, to make sure that it's a successful thing, that you're not being used, because I think that's why a lot of people are like, so yeah, be clear.
But I think that's why you have to be clear. But if you are clear, you won't be used.
Absolutely. Okay. So as we are building our business, building our brand, we're gonna do trial and error with a couple of things. There's some things we're gonna learn the hard way. Some things are gonna come very easily. So let's dive deep under the surface with you ladies. Tell us a mistake that you made that actually was a blessing in disguise for your business.
Giving somebody something on credit they ain't paid you, you have
For me, I think all right, so I paid this person to do a website for me. I hated it after they were done. But they did provide the service. They told me exactly what it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be great and it wasn't. I'm now on, it was horrible, oh my gosh. I'm now on website number 5. But this is it. This is the website that, so it was horrible, but now this website is going to be great because I'm looking for it to be very different than a lot of the other directories that I see. I need there to be just a level of it to be different, and people are used to giving you the same thing that they give everybody, and you just got to figure out that that's just not for you. So now, website number 5, y'all, is it. This is the website. When you go to the site soon, it's going to be great. That's it.
I'm gonna say what she yelled out. Oh my God. I had a salon. She was so good. She was selling bottles faster than I was. So from the time I bring her case of 20, they were sold out by the weekend. But I was giving it to her on credit. And she never had my money. So she was selling the bottles and then spending the money.
Cause she was partying.
Yes, she was spending, and she was so good at it. So, you know, that was a mistake that I made. Because I had a mentor, and he told me, he said, listen, when she's in there doing hair, people can't tell her, all right, my hair's done, I'll be back next week to give you money. She wants her money now. She wants her money when that service is done, she wants her money. He said the same for you. And he told me the next time you deal with the salons, you make sure they pay you up front. If they can't afford the case, give them half a case, a quarter of the case, but make sure you get your money up front. So that was a good lesson. Thank you.
I did a collaboration. Well, I was working on a collaboration with someone for Fashion Week, like in September. And I remember in the initial talks with her, I was just like so nervous, and I allowed her to intimidate me and just make me feel like, oh, maybe I should do this for free, or maybe I'm just not where I should be, or maybe, I don't know, it caused a lot of doubt in me. It kind of actually made me kind of want to stop doing what I was doing for a minute. I lost my motivation just because, you know, sometimes you just let people get in your head. So I think from that, I learned that, you know, I have to be my biggest supporter. I have to, you know, speak life into my business and speak what I want and not allow people to intimidate me. And I think that kind of also led to being more prepared. You know, when you're presenting a business pitch or a collaboration that you want to do with someone, having your research together, knowing your prices, knowing the value and the worth of what you're doing, because I think that eliminates the problem. Like, you know, if you're saying, like, I'm a gem, why would I just give it to you? Or why would I just, you know, cast the pearls before swine? Doesn't make any sense. So I think that rejection just caused me to look back and value and just try to be more prepared in the future.
All right. So what is something that you believe is the hardest in regards to running a business? What is the hardest part of running a business?
Finding people to buy your product, purchase your product. That is the hardest thing. For me, is I've been trying to get into the school district. The hardest part of that is knowing who to contact. So I'm contacting schools. I'm looking at, you know, just doing my research and seeing who in the school district I can send an email to. So for me, that's the hardest part because nobody knows of your product when starting a business. So how can you get it out there without, you know, paying for ads and certain things? Because sometimes you don't have a lot of money to put it out there. How are you going to pay for events and things like that? So
Yeah, it's just finding the right people.
yeah.
Like getting in the right circles, connecting to the right people to find out if you can get the things that you need. I think that's a little tough. Because no one is like, hey Tasha, come on, let me take you to this event with me. Nobody is doing that. So you gotta find out where the events are and go to the ones that make more sense for your business. That's tough.
Yeah, and something I realized that, you know, a business don't turn success overnight. Sometimes we see your Instagram and you're like, oh, these people got 10K followers. And like, I follow Belarga, I like her stuff. But I had to realize, and she'll tell you, her business took about 10 plus years to get where she had today. So sometimes we can't idolize these people for what they have.
Right. Yeah, patience is hard for me. I like things like to happen right away or see some type of growth. So yeah, being patient is difficult.
The hardest part for me is the marketing because I like to be behind the scenes. I'm not really on social media, so most of my business is word of mouth and when I go to the salon, so that's the hardest part. I don't like to be in the front, I don't just want to be in the background, so I guess I'm I'm gonna have to actually hire someone to do that marketing.
Here, 'cause a lot of people wear that from here now.
Yes, I know what you're
It's
talking
a
about.
product.
I know. Like I said, I know. She's right.
So did you bring some of your product today?
I brought one bottle as a sample.
Okay, I'll leave that.
Okay. So cute, okay.
Did I bring
Any?
any? No, I didn't.
How you got a
I
product?
know.
Oh, because right now, I'm doing more of a vending for organizations. So right now, I'm doing more of a vending for organizations, and I'm moving out of the customizations. But if I do create, I do post, and I'll put that as for sale. I do glasses, and Juanita has some of the frames with her. Juanita's actually one of my brand ambassadors. For the brand.
See, I would've rocked your
Oh, she has it here.
Yes.
She has jewelry here.
Oh,
There it is there.
Get
Yes.
that off.
And then,
Purple, I rocked that baby.
It's good to have the walking advertisement.
Yes.
I wear a lot of
Yes.
different stuff. Did you bring any books, Miss?
I did to show.
Her illustrated. I'm telling you, I took a case. I sold 3 cases of her book because I'm old school and people I deal with, they hands on. Like your product, my girls wear natural hair. They like, oh, I do hair, but I don't have the patience. I'm like, but that right there, they were. I tell people, you gotta have your product in order to do that. And I need to see you because I got a problem.
Yes, that's right.
All right, ladies, tell us a vital resource that a business owner should have. What's a vital resource that's really important? You can't run your business without it. What's a vital source?
I would say, well, for me, a mentor. Someone who has already been established, and they can actually lead you in the right direction for your business.
I'll piggyback that as well and say, I'll even take somebody who has failed, because they know
Right.
what they did.
That's
They
right.
know exactly what was wrong for them, what they did, what actually did not work, and they can direct you on how not to do that.
Not to.
Yes.
I would say a business plan. A lot of people just jump into things and just have like an idea and they want to kind of run after that idea, but you know, things will happen and come along their way and kind of deter them. But if you have a business plan, you can kind of always go back to what are the goals, what is the purpose of, you know, what I'm doing, why am I doing this in the first place. And it's just a really good roadmap to success, I think. So it's really important.
And you have a mentor, you support my mentor. He assists me with a lot from my marketing stuff to doing my website for me. So, you know, and I have a team of other people that assist me with things that I do not know how to do. So, you want to ask something? Yeah, sure.
Own your name and own your fictitious name. Own that. Own your website domain. Own all your things, because you can build your brand up and somebody can take it and buy it and you stuck with nothing. So own every name and every part of your business. Pay whatever you have to own that LLC.
So how do they do that?
Wherever city you're
I'll
at.
help you. She knows that because she has.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I know, she told me, I was telling my process.
Yes.
I said, all right.
Yes.
You better. I went through a situation like that before.
We
And
got
we
it
did.
back up.
We did. But it was tough because Facebook don't help you.
We got on
Social media
Facebook.
could be a gift and a curse.
Yes.
Followed the lady, got our followers to say
We just got it back.
stole it.
That's all.
Wow.
We just got it back,
I'm gonna offer something different. Bookkeeping.
y'all. Oh, yes.
You have to know what's going on with your money. You have to understand how the money works in your business. It isn't just cash flow. So if it's something that, you know, when you say get with people who can do the pieces you don't know, if you don't know bookkeeping, and if you don't like it, use an app, use a tool. There are free ones, Wave, you know, bookkeeping. I don't think you can run your business without that one.
So now that social media has taken over the world, basically, what do you guys think about people, and I see this all the time, having a social media but not having a website? What do you guys think about people solely relying on social media versus people who are old school, word of mouth, or have a website or a business card?
Well, that could be, I would say that's actually me, because I'm still working on my website. I don't have one just yet. But for me, it hasn't been hard. I found, for some strange reason, a lot of my customers would rather pay for their services through PayPal or through Cash App, which, okay, if you're fine with that, you're fine with that. But I still feel like I need a website, even though I have social media, because I don't know if you all remember a couple of weeks ago when social media just went, it plummeted. Nobody could get on anything. Right. So at that point, that would be a reason to have the website. That's why I'm working so hard on getting it up. Because social media can crash at any given moment.
That's true. I went 2 years without having a website. I literally just finished in January. But for the most part, I got a lot of my business from Instagram. I got a lot of my networking and events and such things through Instagram, and that's how I met and connected with people to still push my business.
I think you have to start from somewhere. I don't see a problem with people starting them on social media and using that. But you do have to realize though, you don't own anything that's on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. That app could be gone tomorrow, and you know, you may have 1 million followers today, but if it's gone tomorrow, they're gone. So it's important to you want to have like an email list or something that you can say like, these are my people, like they're following me. That's really the only way that you could probably do it, because like I said, having a lot of followers on Instagram, it looks good to maybe consumers or things like that, but in terms of long-term longevity, it's better, I think, to have a website if you can.
I think you can have a website. I'm sorry. No, go. I think you can have a website, but just start off with something that's little. It's okay right now. You're starting out. Just get a blog. It really doesn't even cost but $4.99 a month, and sometimes less, for you to purchase your domain name. You purchase your domain name. If you go through GoDaddy, you can get it for a whole year for like $8. So just purchase it for the first year for $8 and go to a blog. Find somebody who designs bloggers or whatever, or blog. Attach your domain to it. You have a website. Put up there anything you want to put up there. And then you have social media as a backup.
And Google also gives you a domain name for a year as well.
So everybody has a business.
There's Wix you can use. Yes. Shopify. There's Squarespace is really good. I use Wix. Like, you go on my website, like you really would think like I really knew what I was doing. But yeah, like a lot of those websites have great templates that you can use, and you're just doing it by yourself. And like she said, really you have to pay for the domain cost. And
that's pretty much it. And we got $6 because we all look fly in here. I know everybody got $6. Right? Good.
Oh no, I wanted to add on to what Destiny said. Social media is good, but take those followers, funnel them into your email list, and then they'll be on your email list, and they're your customers. So even if anything crashes, or if you decide you don't want to be on social media, all those people, emails and telephone numbers you have now, so you can connect directly with your customers.
Well, thank you, ladies, for sharing that knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and open the floor to the guests. If you guys have any questions, any comments, you guys want to add? Yeah, sure.
Yes. I remember, I want to say, I think it was Tanisha that said it, but it's open the floor to anybody. How, like if you ever got discouraged at any point, like what brought you back up to say, you know what, I'm going to invest in my brand, I'm still going to do this, and continue on until your successes?
Well, I have a story. I was doing it for like a hobby for maybe about 3 years. And the same thing, I don't really like being up front and talking to people about, I don't know. It just felt like I was begging people to buy my product. And I had the mentality ever since I was young, go to work, get a good job. And I did that. So I said, why do I have to start a business? But I had my customers calling me and they was like, we need this product. Because I stopped. Said I'm not doing it. And I had some ladies, they were recovering from cancer after treatment. And they was like, we need this. You cannot stop. So that's what gave me the boost to go and start all over again.
I would say too, sometimes you have to encourage yourself, because you won't have anybody somebody else pushing you. So you gotta speak life over yourself, life over your business, over the situation. I have apps on my phone with inspirational little messages, so even reading them, and even if, I forget who said it, even if you need to, Tanisha, if you have to step back for a minute and regroup and then come back when you're ready and start, you know, from either where you left off or rebrand and start all over again. But you have to be your number one support system, so you have to motivate and encourage yourself.
I get disappointed a lot about my business. I like my business. I love my books and everything. But sometimes, you know, the work that I have to put in there, the time, sometimes I get discouraged because I feel like I should be at a certain point.
Right.
However, I hear people tell me, Tanisha, you know, I'm thankful you're putting this out because when you look and go in the bookstores, you don't see us. And I want to see us, and I want my sister to know that, you know, she can be a business owner. She can write her own stories. We don't have to have books with little white kids in it. We are important too, and we matter. Our lives matter. Our stories matter, and it don't always have to be a heavy story. Some of my stories that I wrote so far is fun stories. So, you know, it's always good to have other stories. However, you know, I just want kids to know it's okay to, you know, like I just want people to know, kids to know that, you know, we can be our own brand and we can put things out there. And, you know, I want them to start writing their own books. So that's my point why I do what I do. I do go down to North Philly and the Treehouse Books. And I wrote stories with the kids down there. So I want them to eventually think about putting out their own books and telling their own stories about their life.
And I would say, go back to your why. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, that's good.
What was the driving factor for you to even start? So when you get in those moments, when you get down, then you bring back up that why, and you're like, I gotta do this. This is why. So if you write out yourself a powerful why and post it all around. I got mine on the side of the bed. I got the pictures of what I want to look like on the side of the bed. My sisters come over, they know. I have a board downstairs with my goals and stuff on there. I need to see. It has to be visual for me. My plan from the top of the year, this vision board stuff is not a joke. I really write this stuff down. I write it out the top of the year, I go back at the end of the year and see what I've accomplished, and I make it better the next year. You have to write it down. Sometimes we just need to see it. And when you see it, it's gonna change. It's gonna channel you back to what those emotions were, and you're gonna be more aggressive than ever the next time you go after it.
Anyone else? Any more questions?
I don't have a question. I have a comment. I think that's great that you're a children's book author for Black kids. Need to read more, and your books can give them that incident. I think that's great.
I have a question. For the ones that sell, how do you price your stuff?
First, depending on what you are creating, start off by looking at how much a piece costs. So let's just say if someone wanted a custom, I have someone now, he wants me to find a vendor that can actually get his name on a piece for a necklace. So the place I found, they charge by the letter. The piece itself is $200. So you have to factor in, okay, if this piece by itself is $200, I still have to get beads. How much are the beads going to be? Add that price of the beads onto that $200. Then you add your worth on top of that. The labor it's going to take you to create, your supplies that you have to use to create, and the time it's going to take you to finding what the customer needs, and then the time it's going to take you to create. So that's how I factor in my price. It's always how much it's going to be to purchase these items, and then my worth goes on top of that.
And connect with me after. I'm going to give you a template, a site that I use that actually walks you through how to set up pricing and all. And then I use forums and entrepreneurs.com for everything. I need to know what they know.
Oh yeah.
I gotta know what they know.
Yeah, that's another thing. Someone sent me something and said, if Tiffany's charges $1,000 for paper clips. Paper clips. For paper clips. Right. For $1,000. And they have a production line. Let's not forget, it's a production line. You're doing it all by yourself. Everything that I do, I'm doing it by myself, from the buying to the assembly to everything. I'm doing it with these hands. They get scratched up, they get scraped up, everything. So you factor that in as well. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, that's too much, it's too much. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe you can find someone else to create it for you.
You're gonna look at me and be like, when you pay for this.
Yes.
You should.
You get what you pay for.
Right. The biggest reason why Tiffany can do that, because we buy it.
Because we buy
Pay
it.
for what they want.
Yeah, you're gonna pay for it.
Pay for what you want. And
Yeah.
another thing I factor into is the fact that when I create, I don't use anything that's nickel based, lead based. I don't do that. It's alloys, sterling silver. I make sure everything is nickel lead free. Anything that's going to break you out and cause an issue for you, no, I don't. I make sure when I'm doing my research to make sure that the metals don't have any of that inside too.
1 second, ladies. Sorry to cut it. Do you ladies have business cards? We have to.
Yes.
I am so sorry that I have to step out and interrupt everybody.
Sorry, you guys.
I love it.
And then I have a
Thank you.
business card for you.
Thank you.